Foreign investors have pulled out about $28 billion from Indian stocks in September's record high in the benchmark NSE Nifty 50. Of course, all of that is just reversed literally days ago. Now, the thinking in the past has been that institutional investors, in a way, are more reliable and predictable, as in they come in and invest long-term money, and individual investors, which could apply to investors anywhere in the world, may or rather pull out money if things turn. So now what India is doing is expanding the definition to include individual foreign investors to maybe balance out institutional foreign investors. How that could play out, I'm not very sure, but it's definitely a forward move given that markets are now more open and there's more funds coming in. So I reached out to Ajay Bagga, veteran investor and market analyst, and I began by asking him how and why even small amounts of foreign portfolio investment continue to drive turnaround in sentiment. And that's actually in both directions, though right now we're talking about the upward direction. And also his overall sense on flows between India and China and the region as well as across the world.
To contextualize it, Govind, we have seen very heavy selling for the last 5 months. So from September 24th, 26th, when we peaked, that time $50,000 went to China over 2 weeks' time, and we saw money going out of India. We thought that trend would reverse, but it's taken 5 months for that trend to actually reverse. So what has helped is, one, after 5 months of falling, the markets have had a positive months in March, and 5 months together of successive market fall hadn't happened since 1996. So you can just see that in context that in 29 years, we have not had 5 successive months of negative returns on the markets, and those were largely because of foreign portfolio investors' outflows, because domestic flows kept coming. So that way it becomes important that there was a turnaround. What we have seen, Govind, in March, that finally that intensity of selling started to get lower, and then the number turned positive. It's not that huge amounts have come, unlike what we saw in September last year when we reached the all-time highs. That was a peak of inflows. And then a month in December, we had seen some flows coming in towards the year end, but overall we have seen a negative. But because the intensity reduced, the domestic flows could make an impact, and that kind of selling was not happening. So that has helped the markets. But overall, apart from the flows, what has happened in the backdrop is the domestic macro has probably bottomed out in September. Corporate earnings have probably bottomed out in December, and we are going to see double-digit corporate earnings growth for the next 4 quarters. That's what seems to be the consensus. We are looking at about 1,040 rupees EPS of Nifty going to 1,200 rupees plus in the next financial year, going to about 1,360 to 1,380 by FY 2027. So what happens is, in another 3 months, Govind, the 1 year forward will then move to FY 2027. So fundamentally also the market is better off. RBI new governor has come in with a lot of monetary easing, a 3-pronged approach: rate cut, liquidity injection, macroprudential easing. And then inflation coming down because of seasonality on the food inflation part. That has helped as well.
To come back to the foreign portfolio investors, so I'm just trying to understand, you pointed out, that we've not really seen this kind of selling in 29 years. Now, what is it that we can take away from the nature of investing and the market itself, given that FIs are still in a way determining the flows? I think, for example, maybe 6 months ago, there was confidence that FIs are not going to determine the direction of the market. But at least the events of the last few weeks seems to suggest that they are. And if there is a turnaround, at least some part of it is, if there is a turnaround in the markets, some part of it is being driven by them. So I'm just trying to understand, is it the nature of their investments, it's their stock selection and the research that they bring in, which causes these shifts or turns?
One is the sentiment, Govind, because it's a number that's seen every day. So the marginal HNI, the marginal proprietary desk gets influenced by that number. Second, as you said, they are still 16 to 18% of our market, depending on the data point when we are seeing it. So they are quite important. And third, the promoter stocks don't come into the market. So as far as the free float goes, they have an inordinately high proportion, especially in the large weightages in the market. So, in the large caps or the bigger part of the mid caps, they could be quite market moving. Fourth is that in terms of allocations, there is decent amount of that FI money which is coming through ETFs, which is coming through global emerging market funds, or which is leveraged money which goes out as fast. So when that money goes out, we have seen about $28 billion going out from September end till today. So that 28 billion shouldn't have made a difference to a $5.3 trillion market. You would say, okay, 900 billion is their holding. What if 2.28 billion went out? It's hardly not even 3%. So why did it make such a big difference? In the free float part, they are quite big. Second, it comes as an intense selling. Third, what I have seen running money in India, our fund managers, when I would be working for an Indian fund manager, we would make sure the impact cost is managed. We will not just sell. But if you are working for Frankfurt or New York or Boston, the thing will be everything must go right now. So the price damage is much higher. That's what is my personal experience, but that's anecdotal. So when the top down comes from Hong Kong or Singapore, some trader of a leverage fund, a hedge fund is clearing his position or creating liquidity, then they don't really watch out for the impact cost. An Indian fund manager will distribute out his selling and will not be so pressurized. I worked for both Indian and MNC fund managers. That was my anecdotal experience.
Right. I know you track flows across the region very closely. So, I mean, we've seen, for example, a lot of funds going into China after the DeepSeek announcement. And even today, there is disproportionate flow towards AI stocks and tech stocks in China and not so much other stocks. So, what's your sense of flows in the region in general, or maybe in other parts of the world, versus India and India's sort of continued, or rather likelihood of getting continued flows?
A large portion of flows went into China. China this year has got about $13 billion already in the first 3 months. And that is very creditable. They did four things very right, and they came in with a very strong four-pronged strategy. One, Xi Jinping actually met the private companies. They had gone out of favor after they made the Alibaba Jack Ma disappear. Xi was frowning on the prima donnas of the Chinese tech industry. He embraced them. He met all of them, and that helped set the sentiment. Second, they were able to very nicely monetize their DeepSeek launch. So, monetization of Chinese tech happened, and a lot of money, which was bidding up the magnificent seven big tech in US, started seeing that maybe we should allocate into the Chinese tech. There is some monetization. Third was their stimulus measures, which they kept on doing. And fourth was injecting liquidity. In the end, liquidity is oxygen to the markets. What the RBI governor did for us, you are seeing that turnaround happening, because having a tight liquidity is as good as starving the markets of oxygen. If you see this time around, the Fed did a stealth easing because they cut down the QT from 25 billion a month to 5 billion. So that was the stealth easing of monetary policy that was done. You're putting in $20 billion of liquidity in the US market. So same thing China also did. So government policy, stimulus, monetization of technology, and fourth was the liquidity injection. And boom, you got 13 billion. There are some other pockets which have got money regularly, but largely emerging markets were starved of capital. A large portion of that incremental money, Govind, has gone into US money market funds. So, which were like $5.5 trillion have gone up to 7 trillion. So, because you are still making 4% plus in a dollar asset, and if you leverage it up, borrow short and put money there, you're making good dollar returns. So, on the average, the incremental flows were going into US money markets. That was what was hurting. Then the dollar falling from 109 to 104 on the dollar index has also helped. So, that incremental flow is coming to emerging markets. India, the flows have restarted in March. we are expecting it will pick up in May, June as the next quarter's earnings start being talked about in operational results. And then I think you should see a flurry of interest. But definitely the money coming out of US equities into emerging markets, that trend has started. China has been the major beneficiary so far. We are expecting India to follow. Europe has got a lot of that money, but that's a developed market. But Europe has done very well. It is an outperforming market year to date, up some 14, 15, top 100 index. Because of their defense expenditure, an austere economy like Germany putting in a 5 billion euro bid on stimulus and on rebuilding its defenses. So we have seen defense and euro banks really take off because of the stimulus that the European economies are bringing in.
Ajay, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your thoughts.
Thanks very much, Govind. Thanks for having me.